This addiction is in place seemingly to bring you what you think you need in your life. When those cravings and those urges come to the surface to act out sexually or go get high on crystal meth, it's really about all of that stuff that you've been avoiding, all of the trauma, all of the pain from childhood and early adult life. That's what's coming to the surface. It's expressing itself in cravings and urges for sex or crystal meth or both. Hey guys, I'm Rob Lopicola, your behavioral health and sex addiction recovery coach, and today I want to talk about your sex addiction and your meth addiction. And if you're like me, you're multi-addicted. You're addicted to methamphetamine and addicted to sex. Now this video will apply to you if you are just methamphetamine addicted or just sex addicted. My core addiction was sex addiction, but I was multi-addicted to alcohol and crystal meth for years. My sex addiction took hold of me since my teenage years. Methamphetamine addiction, late 30s, early 40s, believe it or not. I started late with crystal meth, and I was alcoholic for decades. My disease of addiction took me to horrible, horrible places in life, in addiction, and the consequences of my addiction. So if you're sex addicted, if you're meth addicted, this video is for you. And I really want to zero in on what the addiction is doing to you, why it's here, why this addiction is here in your life, and where you're going with your addiction, and what options you have for your future. And I want you to very clearly understand that your sex addiction is here, your methamphetamine addiction is here because you struggle just to be with you. Your addiction, whether it's methamphetamine or sex addiction or any other addiction, alcoholism or other drugs, this addiction is in place seemingly to bring you what you think you need in your life. When those cravings and those urges come to the surface to act out sexually or go get high on crystal meth, it's really about all of that stuff that you've been avoiding, all of the trauma, all of the pain from childhood and early adult life. That's what's coming to the surface. It's expressing itself in cravings and urges for sex or crystal meth or both. So in essence, the question, as I posed in my last video, is not about what are you running to and how do you fight what you're running to, the sex and meth. It's really about what am I running from? I'm running from me. I'm running from my stuff. And that's really what you're going to have to get a handle on if you want to get well, if you want to change your life. If you're here watching this video, you're probably at a point in your life where you're getting ready to make some changes. Even though you may have tried before, you've made promises, you've negotiated with your meth and sex addiction, you'll only do it on weekends or Tuesdays or whatever the case may be. You've tried negotiating with it to no avail, and now you're feeling hopeless, and now you're feeling desperate, and you're at a place in life now where it's become your normal to go get high and go act out sexually and have anonymous sex with men you don't know, putting your life at risk and in danger, and your health at risk, and your future, your career, your family, your relationship. Maybe your wife or your husband or your partner wants to leave you because you have been really delving deep in your addiction, and they're done with it. They're tired of it. They're done with you. And you're at a place of hopelessness now. And I have news for you, and you have to hear this. I'm being a little more direct with you in this video. You have to hear this. Unless you get the courage and the determination to arrest your addiction, to do something, to truly put the behaviors and the substances to rest and get better, your life, now listen, your life is going to get worse. I promise you. You will lose more. You'll be in more pain. You'll lose more people. Your relationships will fail you. Your jobs will fire you. Your health will fail you. and your mental state of being will progressively get worse. There is no other option if you're meth and sex addicted. There's no other option if you don't put it to rest and arrest it and get help. Get a coach. That's what I do. Get a coach. Get some sort of help in your life. It will get worse. You're going to go so far down in the realm of addiction, whether it's sex or meth or both, that you're going to get into an extremely desperate place in life. Let me ask you something. Have you acted out sexually in public? Parks, bathrooms, anywhere in public? And if your answer is yes, that's an illegal act. You could get arrested for that. And if you haven't been arrested yet, well, I don't know what to tell you. You have committed illegal activity. So I want you to take your addiction that seriously. If you're dealing crystal meth or buying crystal meth off the streets, that's illegal. You can get arrested for that. And I want you to understand that if you have not suffered enough consequences of your addiction, I want you to be aware you have already committed illegal activity. And if you have been caught, you would have been arrested, you would have been arraigned, you may have been in the papers, your family and friends would know what you're doing, and if you committed a sex crime, like me, you may have to register as a sex offender the rest of your life. So if you haven't been arrested yet, but you have committed illegal activity, just keep that in mind. That's really what you're doing in your addiction. It's progressed that far, where you're putting your whole life, your whole future at risk. And if you don't put this to rest, if you don't arrest it, if you don't change, you're going to keep suffering. The disease of addiction is progressive and potentially fatal. You can overdose with drugs. Obviously, you know that. I'm not here to preach that. I'm just saying an end could be death. For the sex addict, illegal activity and imprisonment. And for the sex addict, the rates of suicidal ideation and suicidal attempts are high. Nearly 20% of sex addicts attempt suicide. Nearly 80% of sex addicts think about suicide. Meth addicts, you're so caught up in your meth addiction that when you're high, you feel so good. But when it comes down, you're self-loathing, self-deprecating, you don't like yourself, you're unhappy with the things you did in your meth addiction. And you're in a place where you feel like you just can't stop. You can stop. You can stop your crystal meth and you can stop your sex addiction. You need help. I'm a behavioral health and sex addiction recovery coach, and I want to help you if you let me. I know what it's like. I was addicted to anonymous sex. I was addicted to Grindr and Adam for M and Manhunt and Craigslist. I was addicted to sexting and cyber sex. I was addicted to so many sexual behaviors. They were so compulsive for me. I was addicted to alcohol. And I was addicted to meth, methamphetamine. I was addicted to chemsex. I was addicted to going to meth parties. And I believed it's what I needed to feel good, to escape the pains of me. But it was an illusion, because ultimately it brought me destruction, self-deprecation, loss, agony, misery, bankruptcy. I became unemployable. I lost a 16-year career as a TV, NBC weatherman. My childhood dream, gone, because I was so lost and captivated by my sex addiction. I was sex addicted for decades, and I was able to hide it. I wore the mask. But ultimately, this disease tore my life apart, and it will tear your life apart. It's going to tear your life apart. I don't know what else to tell you. But I know when you're so deeply entrenched in addiction, it's so hard to stop. It's so hard to free yourself from the grips of meth and sex addiction. Who will you be? What will life be like? How will sex feel? No longer high on methamphetamine and acting out on those behaviors you think is making you feel good. You think is bringing you pleasure, and it's not. Because when you're done, I don't have to say anything. Think how you feel. You can answer that. See how you feel when you're coming out of your addiction and that depression that sets in and the hopelessness and the self-beating up that you do. I know what it's like. And for many, many years now, I'm free from addictive sexual behaviors. I'm free from methamphetamine. And I want to help you. So I want you to go to my website. I'll have the link below, sexaddictionrelief.com. Watch my free 10-step strategy session. This will be the first step for you to break free from your sex addiction. And you can apply a lot of those principles into your methamphetamine addiction. I have a 48-page free ebook. Download it from my website. I'm giving you free resources here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't. I have well over 100 videos on here, strategies and techniques to break free from your sex addiction. And I also have a 30-day Sex Addicts Recovery and Transformation Accelerator program. This is an intensive at-home coaching program. It's a journey that in 30 days will change your life. I'm not here to sell it to you. You don't want it, don't do it. But if you can do it, I strongly suggest you take advantage of all the strategies that I have learned, applied, practiced, and mastered, and I put it into a program that will change your life. Let me help you. What I want you to do is when you watch that free strategy session, it's 30 minutes. I want you to sign up for a complimentary 45-minute strategy call with me. Let's talk. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about where you're at. Let's talk about how you're suffering. And I'm a little sweaty because I'm doing this in my living room and we're in a massive heat wave and the AC doesn't work all that great sometimes when the house gets so hot. But I want to help you. So do me a favor, please. Do yourself a favor. Do yourself. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Do yourself a favor. And watch the strategy session. Get the free ebook and set up a strategy call with me. All of these are complimentary. And then if you're a fit for that 30-day program, the accelerator program, I have to tell you, do it because it's going to save your life. And I'm going to close with this. I don't want you to think about where you are right now in your sex addiction only. I want you to keep in mind where it's going to take you. I want you to keep in mind of all the future losses and pain that you're going to cause others and yourself. I want you to think about what this disease, sex addiction, meth addiction, temp sex scene, what this is going to do to you in a year, 2 years, 5 years. I want to help you change your future so you don't have to suffer the consequences I did. Let me help you. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to witnessing you change your life if you let me help you. I post a new video here every Tuesday, so I want you to subscribe to this channel and watch my videos because they're free and they'll help you. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here for service and to help people like you who are suffering like I was. Thanks for being here. You have a great day and take care.